So with this session here, I'm going to actually try something that I've always wanted to try in the classroom, but it could take a longer time. And I just know that people in the classroom, they're fatigued and they can't just, they might not be able to take it. So I know that you guys are not that way because you can sort of watch it. And then when you get fatigued, you can pause, you can go bathe the dog or go for some takeout or something like that, come back, sit down with a bottle of wine and just sit there and watch this at your own pace. So I think this lesson will be better. It's kind of like this opus of everything that we've done. What I'm going to do is completely rewrite this guy, the mission names is what I'm going to do. I'm going to completely rewrite it and make it much more dynamic, so that somebody at the prompt would be able to control what's actually in the memory, and even at the very end, get this thing to generate a list of mission names. All right, so that's kind of the goal here with this. To do this, we have to kind of do a quick bit of review. That's the thing that's going to create the list. This is what adds something to the list, and this is what removes something from the list. If we run the thing, there's our all in the global frame here. Here's our list. That guy just added to it, and this remove is going to take something away. All right, so we got that. So let's go ahead and imagine now that we're going to do all this stuff with functions. So I'm going to create a function. I'm going to call it add to list. You know what? That's just dumb. I'm going to call it add member. That's what I'm going to call it, add member. And what I'm going to take in there is I'm going to take a list and I'm going to take a string. Those are the two things going in. And what's going to happen is that it's going to append to that list whatever string gets passed in, and then very important, return the list. That's what it's going to do. Let's test that dude out. By actually calling it, I'm going to say that the list adjectives is assigned add member, and here I'm going to pass in the very same list I'm manipulating, and then small. All right, so let's see how this guy runs. Let's go next. So here's our setup. Now here it defines a member. Notice again, grabs a piece of the global frame, which is just a pointer pointing to that function. We may never call it, who knows? But now down here in this guy, it's going to create a variable and it's going to start going to the function. So off we go, and it's mad at me because the list edge is not defined. And I kind of think, well, what are you talking about? It sure is. Why would it not be defined? I'm going to go copy. I'm going to go paste. Boy, that sure looks like it's the same. It looks like it's the same. I'm sensing that this is going to be a problem. Name list edge is not defined. Yeah, there it is right there. Right, so now we're going to pause the video and let me see if I can figure this out. So not a great start to my marathon, but I actually had it as list edge without the S. It's actually list edges. Of course, it's plural, right? So that was my problem there. So if I visualize it and I start to move forward, okay, so finally now we're going to get this line. It's going to work. I'm going to go. And so now add member, grab this own piece of memory. It's pointing to the list. It's got small coming on in because I hard coded that. It's going to go down to list append, and we're going to see small show up right there. And then it's going to return that list back. So you notice that in this case, both this variable and the return value are pointing to the same piece of memory. You really can get a lot of Zen out of this, by the way, if you actually pay attention to it. Anyway, so that definitely add member seems to be a cool way to add to the list. Let's now create something that's going to remove. So I've got that functionality. Let's create something that's going to remove. So I'm going to go define remove member. And here I'm going to pass in a list and a string, and it's going to be the list dot remove. And I would like you to remove the string and then return the list. Let's test that out with a list adjectives is assigned RemoveMember, and I'm going to be passing in list adjectives dot, and I'm going to remove blue. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove blue. So let's run this dude, and we're going to go. Okay, so now it's long forgotten about add member. Well, it hasn't really forgotten it, but it's basically the memory's gone. It's still pointing to, it still knows how to do an add member. Now it's about to, it's learned how to do a remove member. And so now it's about to go and actually do it. So it's going to create remove member. We've got blue. We got our list again, pointing to the same list. We're going to go next. And now it's going to go and use this remove string. String is blue. It's going to find blue, and blue is now gone. It's going to return list. And at this point, bang, it's out. And now back in our global frame is that list. Pretty cool. Awesome. All right. So the way I would do this normally, by the way, is I would take my functions. I take my my calls here. Okay, get down. There we go. I've got my definitions and I've got my functions. Right. So let's try that again. I got my definitions where I define it, and then I've got where I call it. Now, one thing I could also do too, I suppose, well, actually, by this remove thing we don't need anymore. What I could do is put some thought into how I'm actually going to populate the list in the first place. But for now, let's just leave it as hard-coded in memory. Now, what if I want to actually return? Well, actually, what if I want to deal with the nouns? I got the adjectives, but I got the nouns. How can I do that? Well, here's what I could do: is in here, grab myself the population of the nouns. Okay, so I'm grabbing myself the population of the nouns. I'm going to put it right there. And notice that these functions are wonderfully generic. So I could do the same kind of thing here. I just go list nouns is assigned, and I can go add member. Once I know how to use them, I got it, right? List nouns, let's remove member, song, and that's visualize the execution. And honestly, it's just fly to the end, and we'll see that, oh, actually got mad. Remove member, it's, oh, I didn't pass in the, again, 2 arguments. So 2 arguments requires 2 parameters. All right, off we go. Visualize, get rid of my shame, and go to the end. So anyway, so that's kind of cool. It did add cat, and it did remove nightmare or song. So these functions are looking pretty darn snazzy. Now I'm actually going to create a function that's going to populate, that's going to give me my initial population list. And as we move forward in time, we're going to fix it. But at this point, I'm going to go define, create lists. Okay. And this thing doesn't take any arguments, but what it's going to do is it's going to basically define these 2 guys, copy and paste. And you know what I'm going to do, just to make it more clear what's going on? These are going to be called adjectives. These are going to be called nouns. And I'm going to, down here, I'm going to go return adjectives and nouns. And then I'm going to grab these 2 lines. I'm going to pull them out. So now my beginning here is just a bunch of definitions. And down here in my processing section, I'm going to say that adjectives, comma, nouns, let's pull him in, is assigned create lists. Let's run that dude. So this guy, I'm just telling the environment what I want to happen if someone says create lists, what I want to happen if someone says add members, what I want to happen if someone says remove members. And now out in the global area, we're going to see basically that it's going to go to create lists, and inside it's going to create 2 lists. And now it's about to return these 2 lists into these 2 variables. So watch what happens. It's about to return them. bang. And now the create list memory is gone, and now I've got myself two variables pointing to these two lists. And then the rest of it is going to process the way it did before. So that's pretty cool. So now I've got a create list. I just want you to imagine that maybe later on, maybe we'll get these for files. I don't know. We could be doing something a bit cooler than actually trying to just grab them like that. Okay, so we got that. So now I want to also do that function there where it creates the names, right? It creates the names. That's a little bit harder. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to figure this out, but I think that's what I want right there. That is the magic code I want. I'm going to copy that code because this already kind of knows how to do it. And I'm going to go into my browser again, and let's just say for now, I'm going to keep these guys around. Add, remove, add, remove. For sure, I'm going to also want the create list. Let's go paste, and let's just see if this is still going to work. That's going to work. That's going to work. This is going to work. That should work. That should work. This actually should work. So I think I should be able to just fly right to the end. Famous last words, go. And of course it couldn't. Like right away it got mad. Oh, got mad because of the randomizer. That's right. If I remember correctly, this program did use a randomizer function. So let's copy that. It's using from the random module a method in there called randint, which stood for random integer. So we may as well go ahead and slam that dude up there. Let's just do that and go. And remember, this, there's no point in my mind putting that into a function. This will teach the entire environment how to do a random integer. So it's not going to, clean up when it's finished. So let's run that again. Get rid of my shame and go to the end. Okay, look at that. Okay, so this code does work. It's not in the right space. I want to put that all into a function. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to go edit, and I'm going to go and define myself a function, which I'm going to call print at this point, print mission names. And it's going to take in there two variables. It's going to take in two lists, I should say. It's going to take in that list, and it's going to take in that list. Copy, paste. I'm going to close it. I'm going to go colon. Now, in order for the rest of this stuff to be viewed as being inside of that subprogram, I'm going to push everything over. All right, cool. Let's run this thing. It's probably not going to be all that exciting. I just want to make sure I don't lose it. The indent doesn't match. That's a good point. It does not match. There you go. Comments didn't matter, but let's do that. Get rid of my shame and go to the end. All right. So I wasn't expecting anything to run. Like by that, I wasn't expecting the output because I'm not calling print mission names anywhere. So let's go ahead and call print mission names. So let's do a few things first. Let's move these lines out. Okay, let's tighten this up a little bit. And so after we've gone ahead and done all of our funky little definitions, we put them back in. So that's our manipulation. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, print mission names. I'm going to pass in. I'm going to pass in those two lists. I'm keeping them the same name because, to be honest, I'm just lazy, right? So I think by now you've seen the fact that the names of the parameters don't necessarily. Let's try it again. The name of the arguments, which is what they're called up here, don't necessarily match the name of the parameters, right? All right, so let's go visualize and go to the last, and there we go. All right, so that's looking good. So cool. That's how I would print them. But we're going to get a little bit cooler than that. That just prints them. What I want to do instead is I want to generate the names as a list and then print that list. All right. So I think this processing all more or less remains the same. I'm going to go copy, and I'm going to go paste. So that processing remains the same, except what I'm going to call it is I'm going to say generate mission names. That needs to stay the same. That needs to stay the same. The random needs the same. Instead of printing, though, I'm going to have a list of mission names. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to actually have to have a mission name list. So let's go list mission names, which I'm going to initialize to nothing. Okay. And then over here, I'm going to change this from print to list mission names dot append. And what is it going to append? It's going to append. We're going to leave the operation out, but I'm going to basically take you and I'm going to take you. So this is going to basically build that list. Now, that's okay, but we need to return it. In order for me to get something out of it, we're going to have to return it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go return. So when I finish the loop, I'm going to say return the list mission names. Cool. And then down here, I'm going to go and say that a completely dummy variable at this point is going to be assigned get mission names. All right, so let's visualize the execution. It's mad at me because I don't have the right parentheses. Yes, I'd be mad at me too. I'm going to run it again, get rid of my shame. This is going to be a few nexts more than I'd like it to be. So let's just get through all that. All right, so now it's about to do the print. Okay, so now it's about to do the print. We're going to go print. So it's going to go up here and do it over here. And we're going to see all the, right up here, by the way, right up here is where we're starting to see the names coming out. I'm not interested in that part. I am interested, though, in this part. So dummy doesn't exist yet, is a variable. It's going to go into gen mission names. Let's see how this works. So here it is. Oh, that's interesting. Running it right after I've emptied out my names is probably not the best test. Probably not the best test. Let's just bail out of that for a second. Probably not the best test. So you know what we're going to do? Again, we're just testing at this point. I'm going to generate the lists again. So I'm going to just go ahead and in here, ignore all the processing that's happened and generate my list again. All right. So let's just go. And let's fly to the end. And let's just go back in time a little bit. All right. Cool. So, very good. Okay. So roundabout now, actually roundabout, really? Okay. So roundabout now we got the empty lists and it's generated. That's what the print statement did. If you remember what the print mission function did, is it basically worked out what was the smallest list size, and then goes through picking the names of nouns and adjectives and then removing them so that we always get unique names. I'm assuming that you can go back and look at what the original program did, but you know that's what it did. So now what we're doing here in get mission names is I'm going to make it create a list of mission names, which I'm then going to have it return. So in order for this to work, because the print one empties out the arrays, the list, I should say, I've decided just to go ahead and just create them again. And that's what we're seeing here. Okay. And so now those lists are going to get fed in to my generate mission names. And so all I really want to see is I want to see this list start to build. And so let's just go, and off it goes. And there's our first, right down here, paying attention. There's our first mission name, our second mission name, our third mission name, and our fourth mission name. So that does seem to be working just peachy. And so now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to basically say, okay, I like that. I like that a lot. This is going to generate the mission names. So I'm not going to do my print like this anymore. There's too much processing in print. I'm going to basically print a straight run at the mission names. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to call this thing list mission names, which is going to come out of there. And I'm going to not do that anymore. And I'm going to pull this out for a second. See, tell you what, just going to leave it completely. So there's my list mission names. And what it's going to do is it's going to basically say for mission name is in, and I'm going to be passing that in. So let's just do that. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go list mn to drive home the fact that this is not like it's another variable. So for the mission name is in the mission, in that list of mission names, what I would like you to do is I'd like you to go and just basically print operation plus mission name. And I don't need to do anything else. This is a straight, simple routine. Straight, simple routine. Okay, we're going to pass in a list, and it's going to go through in a loop through that list, and it's going to print off the mission names. So now down here, I'm going to go print mission names. I'm going to pass in this dude, and I'm going to run this guy, and I'm going to go next. And you know what? I'm going to fly to the end, and I'm going to go back in time a little bit just to get the exciting part right about there. Okay, so right about here, you've seen how all that works, and there it is. It's just come back with the list of mission names which you just built. Now I'm about to print it. So processing is going to move up to the print. It's passed in the list of names, and then it's just going to go through. And here's a variable called mission name, and then it's going to print operation plus mission name up at the top, and then it just goes through the list like that, which you've seen. Awesome. Good deal. So now what's cool about this is that that's the only thing left inside of my memory, and I could, in theory, add or even take away from it. So let's see what I want to do with this now to make it a little bit more interesting, because this is still kind of a program. I'd be very reluctant to give this to anybody out there, right? What I'd want to do is I would want probably to load the right away when someone wants to run this program. I probably want it to load the adjectives, load the nouns, and then generate and print mission names. Is that what I'd want to do, Ashley? Because you know what's going to happen is I'm going to end up with an empty list. No, I don't think I want to do it. I think they'll load, and then I'll decide what I want to do. Sure, that's what I'll do. Okay. So, and if you're thinking, what about this stuff? This stuff is actually going to get called outside at the prompt level. I'm trying to create a nice little dynamic environment here. So you've seen how this works in memory now. So let's just go copy. Let's go to my idle. Let's go to the shell. Let's create something new. Let's go paste. And let's run the module. It's going to say, do you want to save it somewhere? I'm going to say, yes, please. Let's save it here under mission start mod. Let's go save. I love it. And it ran. Awesome. Good deal. Cool. Okay, so let's that's the setup. Now let's talk about how I would use this. How would I use this? So what I'm going to do is, for my own benefit, I'm going to do that, and I think I'm going to do that, and I think I'm going to do that. All I want to do is I want to load in this program, and actually probably I'm going to go def main Oh, actually, no, not even enough name. No, no, that's it. That's it. That's all I want to do. Okay, so let's save it. Save. Let's flush this dude out. Goodbye. Let's create another shell. So there's my other shell. And oh my goodness, I realized that I don't have the location of this, right? If I go import OS, and I go OS get current working directory, I bet you are not looking in the right spot. Oh, you are looking in the right spot. Okay, good, 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 good. So now here's the thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and import into my memory here. I'm going to import mission name start mod. At this point now, my environment knows how to do this stuff. And so let's look at how create lists work. So I'm going to have basically a list which I'm going to call add, and a list which I'm going to call noun. And these guys, currently they have no value, but I'm going to go noun. They are assigned. And oh, what a horrible name I just done to myself. Anyway, it's going to be mission name start mod dot create lists. And so now AD in memory has got that list, and N has got that list. Now imagine I'm a user now, and I said, oh, you know what? That's awesome, but I want to have the ability to add values to the adjectives. What I could do now, because I've loaded the whole thing into my memory, is I could basically say something to the effect of, let's just make sure I know what I'm doing here. AD is assigned add, oh no, it's not going to be add, it's going to be mission name. You can see the importance, by the way, of maybe not naming your stuff all that long. Add member, and I'm going to pass in the AD. Notice, by the way, the prompt here is trying to say, hey, you need a list and a string. It's taking it right from there. So I want to take that and an adjective, groovy. There's my adjective. Boom. Good. I need a noun for this. I'm going to go noun is assigned mission name start mod add member. Going to pass in the noun groovy dude. All right. Boom. So now if I check out what's an AD, AD's now got groovy, and N's now got dude. This is awesome. Now I guess, if I go print, or actually again, mission name start mod print mission names, it's not going to be able to do it. It's not going to be able to do it, right? Because I don't currently have a list I can handle that has the mission name. I will have to generate that list. So what I'll do here is I'll go mission list is assigned, and I just got to look to see again, how is that done? I'm not demonstrating the remove, by the way, I'm just demonstrating the adds, but it's the same thing. So it's going to be assigned mission name start mod, the name of my module. It's going to be called gen mission names. I'm passing in, look at that, it says list adjectives, which I've called AD, and the list nouns is called NN. And I hit the enter button with a great big breath, and it looks like it worked. And if I look, well, what's in ML? What's that now? That's all my missions. Wonderfully generated. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And now if I want to print those, I could go mission name start mod dot print mission names and pass in ML, and now it's printing them off. Also, I could, if I was, actually, you know what I could do even, is I can add a member to this now, right? If I want to add my own crazy mission name, I can go mission, not mission name, sorry. ML is assigned mission name start mod dot add member, because I made this very generalized up here. Add member. So at this point, I can say add to the mission thing. And now tired instructor. And so I hit the button there and I go ML, and now I've created my own mission name on top of that. Pretty cool, which I could then, if I wanted to, feed into the print. And we get that. So this is the very beginnings of a database. And the reason I wanted to spend some time on this is there's a lot of Pythonic applications going on here with lists and creating methods that you give the users to be able to access your lists. So sure, your user, if they knew what they were doing, they could just basically type append blah, blah, blah. But there might be some other processing, which we are going to introduce to this, that you want to put in there. Like maybe there's some validations. You want to make sure, for example, make sure the word doesn't already exist. If the word already exists, stop it, right? Or in the case of remove, by the way, we'll be unpleasantly surprised if we try to remove something that's not there. Let me demonstrate that by going AD is assigned, so that's my adjectives, is assigned mission name start mod dot remove. Notice again, by very cool, this thing is trying to help me out here. Remove member, and I'm going to basically say remove crappy. There is not a member in the adjectives as crappy, and now I'm getting an error. Soon we're going to try and fix that so we don't get an error. We just basically get a little message coming back saying, hey user, crappy's not there. So what I'm trying to say is that this processing, it looks like we're working extra hard, but we will start to add some processing here that we're going to want to control. And so it's good now to basically set up an environment where I'm basically setting up a and it's an API or an application program interface to interface with this data that's sitting in memory. All right, so that was kind of where I wanted to go with that. Let's get this guy up on the screen in all of its glory. And I think what I'll do, just for your eyes, and bring this guy up a little bit too. Yeah, that's all the code right there. So what I did is I created a function that will basically populate with default values. We are going to leave that soon and start pulling the stuff from files when we talk about file processing. But that's going to basically create my first couple lists. I created my own program, which later I'll start to customize, that'll enable you to add a value to a list. And I generalized it. I didn't create one that says add adjective or add noun. This is add member. I just got to pass in any list and a string, and it'll automatically add it to the string. It's pretty cool. If you can get away with doing that, it's a nice way to live life. Remove is the same deal. Generalized, where I give it a list, I give it a string, and it gives me the list without that string. Then I put most of my work into this guy, to generate mission names, which takes the two lists and creates a third list, which it returns. That third list is going through this little machinations to basically go through and loop basically randomly through my lists, and then if you remember what the pop does, it basically removes whatever the adjective was from the adjective list, removes whatever the noun was from the noun list. That's again a definition of a function. And then the print is very, very straightforward. Print, and it just basically goes through the loop, maybe adding operation to it. All this stuff, when I imported it right up here, that's the main line there. When I imported it, it brought all those members into the shell memory so that I could start calling it, right? So there's me creating my list. Here's me adding an adjective. Here's me adding a noun. Here's me generating the mission. Here's me printing the missions, right? This guy now knows how to do all this stuff. And I think if you ever want to see that memory, right? This module is the whole module is loaded into memory. And there are cool ways you can kind of see what the methods are, but I can't remember, to be honest, how to do it now. But there are cool ways to do it. Also loaded into memory too, by the way, is the OS package, because for a brief moment I thought I wasn't going to be able to get it. Okay, so lots to study and learn on this one. So definitely go through, test out, see what damage you can do with this code.